Capital Outlay meeting called to order for October the 18th. Roll call, Ms. Jenkins.
Mr. Richards? Mr. Toller?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present.
Okay, thank you. Item A, consider approval of low bid for the Advanced College and Career Magnet Center by Brunt Construction in the amount of $2,128,700.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, we have our bids on the screen here with the bid tabs. You see the lowest bidder. This was sealed bids handled by Gasaway and Gasaway Bankston. Brunt Construction is the low bid here at $2.1 million, a little over $2.1 million, low bid. And we would ask the board to consider them as the low bidder. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the funding for this so that we're clear on the funding. So the funding for this that we would propose to use would be, I received from Ms. Kay today the update on our parish-wide capital outlay fund, which we started the year with $30 million. We transferred the $27 million over that we're allocating for phase 2 construction that the board approved, which leaves us $4.5 million in the parish-wide capital outlay fund. And so we would propose to the board to use the $2.1 million out of that fund to do the renovations for the Independence Advanced College and Career Magnet Center with a low bid of Brunt Construction. That would leave us a balance of a little over $2 million in the parish-wide capital outlay fund. And as I met with Ms. Kay today, she says that we're collecting a little over $900,000 each month in additional sales tax that we're putting into that capital outlay fund.
Okay, you hear that in the form of a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Motion and second by Ms. Simmons.
Question.
Questions?
I had my phase 2 packet here because I had some other questions for later, but it says we would have $8 million left after we transferred the $27 million. But you just said 4 and then you said 2.
So I'm going by what Ms. Kay gave me today, which is there was $4.5 million left after the $27 million was transferred.
Ms. Kay?
Okay, Ms. Kay, I mean, I don't know, I've got the packet, it says as of June 2022, we had 35 million, we transferred 27, and it would be 8 million left in regular.
Well, the actual cash balance in that account at the end of June was 30 million and not the 35.
Okay,
I think the 35 included the air conditioning and the other roofing and technology balance.
Okay.
There's where the difference is at, and we're just dealing with the plain.
the regular, okay,
sales tax.
okay.
And then there's also about $900,000 a month that's being transferred
That's the
over there
balance sheet she
for
gave me.
sales tax for the year.
Yeah, because 8 million is really half of what we used to get, and if we only have 4 million to fix everything else, everywhere else, that's not gonna be good. I hope we get some more sales tax.
Any other questions? Duncan?
Just 2 questions. Ms. Stilley, I know when we talked about doing this project, we were talking about the fact that we had grant funds to
Yes.
fund this project.
Yep.
Was that, I guess, can
Yep.
we talk about what the grant funds are paying for versus what we're now being asked to pay for?
Right. So there were 2 things. There was a Reimagine grant that was for $1 million that we received, that we were allocated. And we also applied for the federal magnet school grant, which we had Dr. Lurch submit for us, which we did not, we just received word on that a couple weeks ago that we did not receive funding in that round. So that left us the Reimagine grant funding, which is part of federal funding. And we had a call today with Ms. Lanier in federal funding, who advised us that because the bids did not go out with the Davis-Bacon requirements on the bid process, that the federal funds couldn't be used for the bids to pay the contractor for this job. But we could modify the grant and use the $1 million grant money for equipment, pay salaries, furniture, transportation of students there. It could be used for the Career Center, but not for the actual construction part or renovation
So
part of
we'll
it.
use it to actually operate the school and run it
Yeah,
for
to
a while?
run it and do the furniture, like any kind of equipment or specialized stuff we needed for the center. We could use it to hire specialized instructors that we needed at the center. We could modify the grant to do that. And also, she recommended that on any, which I'm going to reach out to our architects about this, email them actually, that any bid, any new construction bid that we go out to do should have listed on it that if federal funds are on any of them, we should list it. If federal funds are used in the construction of this building, that it's understood that the Davis-Bacon rules are going to be followed. That way we're covered. If we decide to braid in some funds that are federal, we're covered, and we can always use the federal funds to do that. So in this case, once she started really looking at the Reimagine grant coming from ESSER, she flagged it, said, hey, this is going to be a problem because it wasn't, when we did the bids, it wasn't listed as a Davis-Bacon project. And so
Okay.
that could be an issue for us with our federal funding.
And I don't see any of the architects here, but I was also hoping we could, because I haven't seen the plans of what we're actually doing with this $2.1 million in renovations. Can those plans either be made available to
Yes.
us, or can we talk a little bit about what we're actually doing on this campus to spend this money?
Yes, and I don't have all of the, I don't have the plans. We can share those with you. I know Dr. Fasell has worked very closely with them on that, and the different programs that they're doing. And there are some, there's obviously sketches because, we've got the bids, but we can email those to y'all and make sure you have them, but I don't have those tonight.
Okay.
Could you just explain what was the Davis, whatever, Bacon, whatever you just said?
Oh my gosh, you're going to quiz me on.
I mean, I don't even know what that is.
Okay, well, all I know is, it sounds kind of like a Big Mac, but anyway, no, that's not what it is. Davis-Bacon are the rules when you're using federal money to construct, is very specific things you have to do in order to use federal money to build construction of buildings. And so it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of red tape, and they're very particular. And, one of the things that could happen is if they're not followed very closely, you could risk your federal funding, or all your federal funding. We could have to pay it back later if we're flagged for it, like maybe, a year or so down the line. So we want to make sure that we're doing it all to the T, like we're supposed to. So I'm very glad that she flagged that for us today and was blowing the whistle. Wait a minute,
Did we know at the time that we were using federal money for this?
Well, I think that the Reimagine, we were thinking it was state. It was issued by the state. It was a state grant, but it came from federal ESSER money through the state.
Gotcha. So we did not know
So, yeah.
that it was federal money to put that in place.
So it technically is federal money, but it was federal money that was funneled through the state to use. So we need to follow those guidelines.
And when do we begin that school? Is it going to be next fall?
Well, the plan is to begin using for classes in August.
So, Melissa, we're renovating a facility that we already have.
Yes.
Where's that located?
Independence Middle School.
Independence Middle School?
Uh-huh.
It's a building?
It's a current building that we're renovating.
I see.
Buildings.
For
Buildings.
Career and Technical Center.
Okay, so this bid just covers the cost of renovating the building. to get it to the standard where we can get these funds. Okay. So that doesn't include any equipment, furniture, or anything like that.
Right, these are the renovations, and then there's the, we have the Reimagine grant, and we have also CDF funds, which are career development funds, which is another funding pot that is used for career vocational technical programs for what you're speaking about to, yeah. This is just like the building part, construction.
Any other questions?
Call the question.
All right, question's been called for.
Voting is open.
Hey, there's the architect.
Yeah, he thought it was 5 o'clock start. But Cindy didn't text him.
I'm glad she texted me. I'd have been here at 5.
Maybe he could answer.
You can pass this to Brett, he might want to see that.
Yes.
That's, here's
Yeah, I
why.
thought.
Oh.
Ms. Stelly, can we, since Chris is here, did you do, Independence Leadership Cap?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
the career and technical.
Could you come to the microphone then?
What we just voted on, Chris, is we
We haven't
just-
voted yet.
Oh, you gotta.
yeah, we just voted on the Independence Project. Could you give us a very quick synopsis of,
We haven't voted. It's not finished. The vote's not
I'm sorry,
finished.
we're still
Who are you
voting.
waiting on? You waiting on somebody to vote? Are you gonna vote? Okay.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Could you give us just a brief overview of what we're looking at doing up there? And we'd like to follow it up with some paperwork and some plans later, but
Sure, definitely. So we, what we're doing is, you're familiar with the old middle school, right? So we're basically renovating the whole school.
Could you talk in the mic?
I don't think it's on.
Oh, is it even on?
Should be
Not even
on.
plugged in?
Thought maybe I was losing my ear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're renovating the old building, and we're getting all new floors, new paint, classrooms get new doors, new ceilings and lights. We've got a new entry with a basically giving the whole school a new presence. The building, the older building, what we're calling Building B, is we're basically gutting it and giving it a whole new upgrade. And I think the alternate was changing the shingle roof, which we were going to change the shingle roof in the base, but in the alternate, we're changing that roof to metal roof to match the other facility, so it all ties together.
So, Chris, are we doing anything to like develop specific labs that are necessary for, say, welding or auto?
That's in the second phase. That's going to come the second phase in the back, in the gym area.
So that's not part of this $2 million? Okay.
Good. Oh, that's a lot.
Maybe that's what maybe we can use the second pot of money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were just, because we didn't have anything, no plans, no diagrams, so we were just hoping, we're glad you came in. So if we could get a copy of any of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll have to get that distributed.
Yeah. All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, motion carries. Item B, consider approval of the low quote to mitigate fire damage to a classroom at Kentwood High Magnet School by ServPro in the amount of $48,225. Ms. Tilly.
Yes, so we have as most of you know, we had a fire at Kentwood High School that damaged a business computer lab, and we are, went out for low quotes for cleanup, and we have two quotes here. The low quote is ServPro in the amount of $48,225.50. This is covered by our insurance. We had Mr. Jinko and I had a call today with our insurance person, Representative Mr. Austin Powell, and the adjuster, and talked about our coverage. which kind of the first step is to get the cleanup person in there to do the cleanup. And of course, they do a lot of the removal of the ceiling tiles and the insulation that's been damaged, and clean all of that stuff out, and their process of what they do. Next will be repairs to the building, which I believe our maintenance is going to try to handle a lot of that, repairs to the inside of the building, replacing the ceiling tiles, putting the insulation, et cetera. And then also the replacement of the computers, that will be the next thing. And then, of course, the tables and things that were in there. This is paid out of FEMA / insurance money. Basically, the insurance, she said, was going to pay all of it, of this ServPro contract. The cost of ServPro was going to be paid for insurance. I asked that specific question. She said on the call today, it's going to be paid by the insurance. The total payout on the claim, as she told us today, for this classroom she said it should be about $350,000. So we should be able to get all that we need to repair this classroom back to working order very quickly.
Move to approve that.
We have a motion to approve, seconded by,
I'll make a second.
okay, second. Question on that. Do we know why? I mean, I know there was maybe electrical issues or computer issues, or have we determined?
So they have a team coming in. They said after the 27th, there's like a little team of investigator crew coming in. There's a corner of the room where they have a surge protector and some wiring, and they want to go in and really look at that and see if they can identify, how that started. I think is what their goal is. So I think we'll know more. They said after the 27th, we'll be able to really move forward with, really getting in there and fixing up the building back so that students can use it. So I think they're not finished with the full looking at that. They referred to as the corner of where the surge protectors and stuff were.
It seemed like there was also some electrical work
Yeah.
to the feed coming to the building done that same week. So I'm sure they would look into all that. Hey, have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other questions, discussion? No public input. I call for question.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, item C, consider approval of the low quote to replace the perimeter fencing around the playground at Spring Creek Elementary School by Milton's Fence for an amount of $18,900.
Yes, Spring Creek Elementary had some damage by Hurricane Ida, and part of the damage was some downed trees around by the playground area that impacted the fencing. There's a little creek that runs there around by the school as well. And so one of the things that we've done is cleaned up the trees and the debris around that area. And we're now ready to replace the fencing so that the students are not, going into the creek when they get hot. And so we have 3 quotes here, and well, actually we went out for 3 quotes. We have 2 back, and the low quote is Milton Fencing with $18,900, and we would ask the board to consider that low bid.
Motion to approve the low quote.
Motion to accept it.
And this is going to be paid out through our Ida damage. I think the FEMA account is what is going to pay on this one.
Okay, we hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Duncan. Yeah, just to piggyback on what the superintendent's saying, it's been a long time coming to get this. The principal's been uneasy about letting the kids play on this playground because of the issues with the fence. So not only did we take the fence down and replacing it, but we also, maintenance went in and had the contractor clear like back 20 feet toward the creek, the entire, I believe it's 300, close to 400 feet of wood line there. So it's a big area times 20 feet. So it's going to be a big improvement for them. making way for this new playground equipment that will hopefully be installed soon. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Miss Tilly, what would be the name of that creek? Did you know that?
I think it's on,
Like, don't miss
I think we should call it Tom Toller Creek.
But as a kid, I did play in it when I was going to Spring Creek School, so
That's why we have a fence up.
that's why we have a fence now.
Could be Spring Creek. I mean,
Could be
yes,
Spring Creek, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe.
All right, call for question?
Voting is open.
I remember going home muddy several times.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, anything else to be brought before capital outlay?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay, yeah.
I guess, Ms. Tilly, if you could, just, or Kay, my question about Champ Cooper and DC Reeves and Ponchatoula High, are we on target with our new buildings that are going up right now? Do we know?
Yeah, we, well,
I mean, like, they're supposed to be finished with it, so come June or July.
what are you talking about, the phase 1 or phase 2?
Phase 1 at Champ Cooper. I'm just wondering if they're like really on target.
Yeah, yeah, they're on target. They're emailing us some reports. I can forward those to y'all, so you can see the progress. But the architects actually email us a report on where they are. They go out to the site. They're, like a progress report.
Yeah, I like to.
So, I mean, I'm happy to forward those to y'all.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Mr. Anselon told me that it'd be ready and so we can move
Yeah,
in next
yeah,
fall.
they're on
So I'm
target.
like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I did see that they repaired and added the extra parking at Champ Cooper with the, actually it was really part of phase 2, but it, we needed it, so. But my other question was about the phase 2. I know with the 3 pockets of money, I just want to make, and we got to spend the ESSER money by June of '24. I want to make sure we're on target on all of these, especially the ESSER money is for Champ Cooper, I think, and I think maybe it was Midway or somebody.
Woodland Park.
So to make sure that all of those documents are getting done, whatever needs
Yep.
to be done,
Yep,
so we can start, because we have to spend the money before.
Yep.
June
We're on top of it.
before, yeah. Okay.
yep.
And then, the other thing was, about the bonds, like, I know we don't go out for bonds, because another part of the money that we would get would
Yeah.
be 15 million from bonds. Is that, do we go apply or talk to our bondsman after we sign contracts, or when do we talk about the bonds?
Well, first of all, we're thinking that we may not have to borrow the money.
Okay. Well, that's
And we won't need to do it right now.
good. Okay,
So we think that it would be, too quick right now to go do that. So, in fact, Kay and I met today and was talking about that. So, we definitely think that, that it could very well be possible that we won't need to bond out the money at all.
but if we need to.
But
we can.
I know the board approved us to
Yeah.
do that if we need to.
Okay.
But as we get some projects off the ground, I think, and as we watch the sales tax collections, we'll know a little bit better.
Yeah, because I mean, I know in the past with the bonds, it's not like today, tomorrow. It's like an extended time before you can actually see the process of that. So I
Right.
just was thinking about, just kind of looking back at this. And then I had 2 other questions about, for vineyards in Ponchatoula High, we had been talking about the sewer system is at capacity nearly, and we were gonna build a cement thing like we built at Hammond. I think it was we built in Hammond. So have we been talking about the sewer upgrades at Martha Vineyard? Because I think that has to be done before.
It's on the
we-
list of projects,
Yeah.
but we have not
Okay.
gone any further than it's on the list. So
Okay,
it's
I just-
Vineyard, I saw Vineyard on there. And what else did you say, Ponchatoula?
Well, it's Ponchatoula, right now Vineyard is going to Ponchatoula.
Uh-huh.
All the sewer.
Yeah, I saw Vineyard on the list.
Yeah, but Vineyard needs their own because we're now fixing to add another 20-something 18 buildings at Ponchatoula High.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about building another septic sewer drainage place at Vineyard. And then if necessary, the overflow from the high school would actually
Yeah.
start going to Vineyard. And I think in order for the roundabout to be done, that the state had agreed to help us move the plumbing or whatever that's under the street going from Vineyard to the high school. And all that has to be done before the roundabout and before we start the building, I would think. So I'm just trying to remember that, so we could get that moving.
What building?
The 20 building, the 20 classrooms that are going on Ponchatoula. And when we start using the brand-new wing, our capacity in our sewer system is already at capacity with Vineyard and Ponchatoula. So once we go online with the brand-new building they're building right now and the other 18 classrooms, we definitely got to have this new capacity at Vineyard for sewer.
Okay.
I just know it takes a while to do those things. And then my other question that I wanted to ask was about the athletic park. I know we were talking with Zabia about that nothing's been done. I know they want us to pay some of that. Do we know where we are with that? So just put that
Any
on
of
the
these
list.
things capital outlay agenda items?
No, but we can talk about capital outlay at capital outlay.
We can also talk about it before the meeting, just
Yeah,
a phone
yeah.
call or an email.